Explain your judicial philosophy in plain English.
Excuse me. Yes, my judicial philosophy is that the court is accessible to everyone. And when I say accessible to everyone, that means that even as a magistrate now, that we see a person and not a case number, not a file number, and not a charge. And that means taking into consideration all factors. I've always lived by that, even as a teacher, as a union rep, representative or steward, and as a magistrate.
The second question is, what are the biggest changes you think we need?
But I would like to see the court get more involved in schools, where the first time that individuals are engaging with a judge or the courtroom is not when they are experiencing trouble through a family member or for themselves, and that with being familiar with the court, they would be able to have more confidence in the court system and the judicial system and how it's ran. I would also like to see more technology used. And again, the Sixth Circuit currently is doing an awesome job with implementing Zoom, and I would like to see more of that involved for defendants. And additionally, and I think this is coming down the pipeline, that there's going to be a change in defendants and litigants being able to bring their phones into court. That is something that is critical, because we in Oakland County don't have a very extensive public transit, and sometimes that is the only means that the defendant has to connect with their family, to say, I need transportation to be picked up, or two, to say, this is what happened in court today. Can you make these necessary arrangements? So oftentimes as a defense attorney, we are calling or trying to call the family afterwards, if there's no family in court, to explain to the family what happened or what's going on. And I want to circle back with the technology. I know with Zoom, some scales requiring that the proceedings are available on YouTube. That is beneficial for the family too. There's family out of state who can't be involved, or there's family at home who can't get there because of childcare. And that would allow them to participate and view the proceedings and understand or know what's going on with their loved ones.
Nadine Hatten, could you please tell us, how will you balance being an independent judge and an elected official?
As an independent judge, I have a fierce commitment to high standards of practice and attention to detail. So what I would do is, it's important to understand that the law is forever fluid and changing with times, and it's necessary to not let one supersede the other, but to follow the law as it is written.
The first question from the audience was from Brad, and he says he would like to know, what do each of you feel like is your unique qualification to be seated on this circuit court?
So the first one to answer that would be Nadine Hatten.
My unique qualification is my diverse background. I was a high school teacher, and I taught in the inner city with high-risk youth. And while I was going to school, while I was teaching, I went to law school at night and was the union steward. So that goes to my unique quality, is that I'm hardworking, I'm determined, and I bring a unique skill set. Having a career outside of law, and having been a union steward, and now a magistrate and a defense attorney, and I have an LLM, which is a master's in law, which I went further to study my trade and skill to defend my clients. So all of that makes me a unique, my complete background.
Nadine, please explain how you make your decisions regarding political donations. Are there other charitable, nonprofit, or issues-based organizations where you donate money?
I support groups that promote diversity and that act as a force for change. When I was a child, my mother gave to United Way out of every check, and so United Way is a agency that's near and dear to me. I also have a family member who suffers greatly from mental health issues. So those are organizations, that's another organization that is near and dear to me. I've recently become involved with the Alzheimer's group organization, and that's because I also serve as a guardian ad litem in probate court. And that is one of the issues that continues, or that I would see repeatedly, is that a lot of the wards would have Alzheimer's issues, or Alzheimer's was what led to the need for their guardianship. Breast cancer, of course, that runs in my family. And so those are some of the organizations. So it's because, one, it's personal; two, promotes growth; three, diversity, and acts as a force for change within the community.
I have two short questions, each of which requires a short answer. One is, I'm wondering if the candidates can tell us their current job and employer. And secondly, I'd like to know about top endorsements that they may have received.
Yes, I currently am a solo defense attorney. So I work for myself. I've had my own practice for 10 years. I'm also serving as the district court magistrate in Hazel Park. I've had that position for 1 year. That is a position that the magistrate position is a position you're appointed to by the judge of that district court. My top endorsements, I have multiple endorsements from city council members in Pontiac and various church leaders and various members on the circuit court. And that would be evidenced by the award that I received in 2017 for children advocacy.
Nadine Hatten, do you favor abolishing cash bail and only having pre-trial detention if a person is a threat or a flight risk?
Thank you for the question. As a city magistrate, that is part of my responsibilities. I conduct arraignments and set bonds. And in doing so, I consider, as the law requires me to, the likelihood that a person, two things, the likelihood that a person will or will not appear at the next court date, and two, public safety.
Nadine Hatten, do you believe that a court-appointed attorney should be provided funds to pay for expert witnesses?
And I absolutely do believe that public defenders should be awarded funds to pay for additional assistance.
And Nadine Hatten, could you please give us your closing statement?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity to present and address the group tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. As I've indicated, I am uniquely qualified to be Oakland County's next circuit court judge. My background as a teacher, high school teacher in public school for 15 years. I come from a UAW family. I was a union steward while working as a teacher. I have been a defense attorney for 10 years, handling adult and juvenile criminal cases, guardianship and conservatorship cases in probate court, as well as handling neglect cases where I represent the parent. So that could be the mother, the father, or the child. Usually I represent the child. I also have a master's degree in criminal defense. So all of those things make me uniquely qualified because it allows me to bring a different perspective to the bench. As the law is not a one-size-fits-all approach. And like as a teacher, where I often had to make tough decisions regarding my students, as a defense attorney, I've had to sit down and have difficult and tough conversations. As a magistrate, I've had to make tough decisions, whether to impose jail time on some of the cases that I'm allowed to accept pleas on. And as I've already explained to you earlier in the platform, whether to set a personal bond or a cash bond, those are all things that I currently have the opportunity to do and the experience. So all of that makes me uniquely qualified to serve as Oakland County's next circuit court judge. And then if you look at the awards that I've received have to do with public service. They're not to help the community, to help someone at a time when they're in need, the Teacher of the Year Award, the Sandra Silver Award, when I am helping families at some of the most difficult times. All of that equals firm but fair, and that's Nadine Hatten. I'm firm but fair, and I'm prepared and ready to serve as the next Oakland County Circuit Court Judge. Thank you.